YNW Melly is one of the most polarizing figures that has emerged within the rap game in the last decade, and his name has been constantly surrounded with controversy, something that at times has been a blessing in disguise, but also a curse that has hampered his career quite a bit. But Melly's story is so much more and bigger than all the controversy that surrounds him, and that's why today we are going to take a look at how he managed to beat all the odds and escape the curse of his hometown and become one of the rap game's brightest and youngest talents that has got praise from plenty of industry giants such as Young Thug and Kanye West. But before that, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more awesome content like this. Now, without further ado, let's get cracking! Jamal Demons, aka YNW Melly, was born on 1st of May 1999 in Gifford, Florida, and was raised just by his mother, Jamie Demons King, who was only 14 when she got pregnant with Melly. Till this day, Melly doesn't know who his real father is, but Donte the Gift Taylor, a local Floridian rapper, claims to be Melly's biological father, but we don't know whether this is true or not, as we don't have a paternity test and neither a confirmation from Melly's mother. Nevertheless, Donte the Gift made a heartfelt remix of Murder on My Mind titled Melly on My Mind, in which Donte claims the innocence of his alleged son after his arrest in February 2019. Even though the remix is quite rough around the edges, it's quite a heartfelt tribute and I definitely recommend checking it out. That's why I'll link it down in the description. Back to Melly's upbringing. His mother had quite a rough time as they were living in poverty, and she was still in just the 9th grade when Melly was born. She tried to make ends meet by working at the Dunkin' Donuts and Chili's before later on becoming a full-time nurse. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Melly's mother, because even now when Melly's probably making millions off his music, she's still a practicing nurse, and she was even on the front line down in Florida during the first waves of the pandemic. So a huge shout out to her. Now Melly has showed quite a keen interest in music from early on, because in kindergarten he played a main role in The Lion King, showcasing to everyone his vocal abilities. Plus Melly also had Chris Brown's self-titled debut album on constant rotation, constantly singing and dancing to it while being on the front porch of his house. Chris Brown's influence on Melly's music can be easily felt, and Melly even went on to make his own rendition of Chris Brown's Say Goodbye, which was titled Slang That Iron, and it was featured on Melly's YNW mixtape. Another huge inspiration of Melly's was Michael Jackson, who Melly many times references through some of his outfits, especially through his glittery and shiny leather jackets. As a side note, Melly wasn't the only one from his YNW crew looking up to Michael Jackson, as YNW Sakchaser, who was also quite a huge fan of MJ, his Instagram page was filled with tributes to Michael Jackson, plus even having a song dedicated to him, which you can find down in the description. Other inspirations for Melly were Adele and Ed Sheeran, being attracted to their music due to managing to tell heartfelt and powerful stories through their songs, something that Melly has tried to emulate in most of his work. Meanwhile, Melly looked up to rappers such as Young Thug, Lil Wayne, and Drake too, expressing his willingness to work with all of them sometime along his career. Melly being a showman and having a magnetic personality from early on, he easily attracted people around him, and one of these people was no one other than Juvie, who he met while in kindergarten. Later, Melly and Juvie being joined by Sakchaser and Bortland, with whom as teenagers formed the YNW Collective, which stands for Young New World. The fact that the four of them have been a clique since kindergarten and school makes me question more and more the narrative that is pushed on by the police. Now, despite Melly's huge talent, from an early age he was exposed to guns and violence, as while he was just 9 years old he found his uncle's pistol and fired it into the air, an incident that left Melly deaf for a week. This wasn't Melly's last run-in with trouble, as he has also joined the local faction of the Bloods down in Florida. And when he was 16, Melly with his semi-automatic weapon opened a fire near his high school, an event that led to his incarceration. Luckily for him, he could have had a longer prison stint, but the judge gave him a shortened sentence. While in prison, Melly had a realization. He realized that he could make it as a full-time rapper because his fellow inmates were giving him Rice Krispies to rap and to sing for them. Also, while in prison, he made some of his first moves within the industry, putting out the Collect a Call EP and signing to 100K Management, who then helped out Melly to secure a record deal with 300 Entertainment. Now, as a funny side note, after Melly was out of jail, he and his team finessed Adam 22 and his No Jumper imprint, which was under Atlantic Records at the time, by telling them that Melly was unsigned, making Adam 22 and Atlantic Records hopeful that they could possibly sign Melly. Thus, they proceeded to fly him and his team out to LA and pay for their transport, accommodation, and a studio session in order to pursue them to sign with the No Jumper imprint. But unfortunately for them, soon they found out that Melly was already signed to the then independent 300 Entertainment. The deal with 300 Entertainment at the time was mostly aided by Melly's highly viral Murder on My Mind, which he wrote during one of his early prison stints, and the song slowly started to go viral and was racking up impressive numbers on SoundCloud and YouTube. Despite Murder on My Mind putting Melly onto the map, it has also landed him into more trouble, as the song has reached the ears of an ill-willed attorney that argued that Melly's song broke his parole and sent him back to jail. Following the impressive success of Murder on My Mind, all the eyes were set on Melly, attracting praise after praise, with Young Thug declaring that Melly and his crew were honorary members of YSL and even wanted to sign YNW Sakchaser, but this never happened due to his untimely death. Also during this time, Melly had a highly productive studio session with Kanye West, which led to the creation of Mixed Personalities, but also a highly dynamic freestyle, which for a short while was one of the most sought after leaks of YNW Melly. If you want to find out more about how Mixed Personalities was made, check out my video on it, which will be up here in the corner. Once again, Melly couldn't stay out of trouble, as he wound up in jail for marijuana possession, but this wouldn't stop him from releasing music, as Melly rolled out the We All Shine mixtape, which further cemented him as one of the most dynamic and charismatic rappers of his generation. Upon getting out from jail, it seemed that Melly was destined to take his success to new heights, as he has filmed a music video for Mixed Personalities, which was directed by no one other than Cole Bennett, and Melly was about to embark on a national tour to promote his mixtape. Unfortunately for Melly, his good fortunes came to a halt as a warrant was issued on Melly's name, with Melly being accused of killing two of his associates, YNW Sakchaser and YNW Juvie, who were killed back in 2018 in an alleged drive-by shooting. The police report claims that Melly committed the murders in cold blood, after which he and Bortland allegedly staged the crime scene as a drive-by shooting in order to cover up their marks. As of writing, Melly currently still awaits his trial in prison, with the trial possibly finally starting in May 2022. But despite Melly's incarceration, he remained prolific with releasing music. While behind bars, Melly graced us with 2 albums, the first being Melly vs. Melvin, which had 2 smash hits with Suicidal, later being remixed by the late Juice WRLD, but also 223s featuring Glock 9, with the song charting at 20th and 34th respectively on the Hot 100, and overall the album charted at number 8 on the Hot 200, selling 43k units first week. His second release, From Behind the Bars, Just a Matter of Slime, couldn't replicate the same success of Melly vs. Melvin, but it still pulled some decent numbers, charting at 11 on the Hot 200 and moving 20k units first week. Plus the much awaited Mind of Melvin featuring Lil Uzi Vert entered the Hot 100 and charted on the 78th spot. So far, this has been YNW Melly's journey, and it has been filled with plenty of ups and downs. Nevertheless, he is one of the most unique voices that the rap game has seen lately, and I'm eagerly looking forward to seeing his next move in case he beats the case and finally walks free. And despite the fact that the DA just published a 66-page document providing possible DNA evidence that incriminates Melly, his team remains confident that he'll beat the case, with YNW Portland and the 100k track claiming that they are going to shock the world. But until we find out the verdict, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification button, because soon I will be looking into how Melly's post-jail career might look like in case he walks free. Also, please let me know down in the comment section what artist's life would you like me to cover next. Once again, this has been Trapology 101. Till next time, stay safe and see you soon, folks.